Hello and welcome to a rather different beard clipper video. I've been challenged by Justin from Game On to do some cooking videos. Now he did send me a recipe in a comment on an earlier video of mine. However, I don't have everything I need to do to make that. So what I'm going to be doing tonight is making something which is my own recipe. I made this up when I first moved to Bulgaria. It's called spicy pork pasta and it is a huge favourite in our household. And I hope that if you do try it, you like it and it becomes a favourite in yours. So this is obviously not my usual content, but it's still creative, it's still making, and I hope that you enjoy it. So I'll point the camera down at the bench and let's get cracking. So let's first of all talk ingredients. What I use is these pork belly strips. Now they're the ones that have the bone and the fat in, so we'll need to sort through those later, very shortly actually, and chop them up. I then use olives that are in vinegar, because we have both the olives and the vinegar. You need some mushrooms, these bought just today from a local shop. You need butter. Butter is an ingredient in most of my cooking. You need chilies. Now this is the sad remnants of our harvest because I forgot to pick up chilies. I went out and got mushrooms and didn't pick up chilies. But you can use chili flakes, and we also have some nice red salt, some black pepper, and this is the ingredient which makes it difficult to make not in Bulgaria. This is like an eggplant or an aubergine hot sauce, and it's really nice, and this really does make a difference. And I know that that seems like cheating, that I'm using a packet of sauce, but it just works best, so that's why I do it. So what I'm going to do now is get myself ready, wash my hands, and get the chopping board out, and I'll show you how to prepare it. Of course, the thing that I forgot to mention in the ingredients was the pasta, but we'll come to that later because that's done afterwards. So what I do is I take each strip and I cut out all of the bone. Now, I used to have a composting system here which took even the bones, but I don't anymore, so this is actually pure waste, which does upset me a little bit. But cut around them as much as you can, keeping as much meat as possible because you want the meat. And then we're cutting it into strips, and I'll put it straight into the frying pan which I'm going to use. This is a very heavy bottomed, heavy pan, and it's perfect. So you just cut that up into strips like so. So I will get all of the packet done, and you may say that's a lot. If you know me, you know that I'm home alone right now, sadly. However, this meal does really well reheated for lunch the next day, and so this probably will feed me for a couple of days, which is pretty good. So yeah, remove all the gristle, keep as much of the meat as you can, and put that into your heavy bottom pan. So I'll get that done, and then I'll bring you back for the next step when I get to it. So I've cut all that up, and this is now over a gas flame. Now the best way actually to do this, the best way to cook it, is over on a pechka, as they call it over here, which is a wood fire with a hot plate. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, it's been glorious. It's been 27 degrees today, so the fire is not lit, even though it is nearly November, and so I'm going to be cooking it on the main range. I don't put any oil in at this stage. You get plenty of oil out of the fat, out of the pig. And what I do is put some chili flakes or some chopped up fresh chilies if you've got them, which, as you know, I don't because I'm an idiot. But this is where you're going to get some of the heat baked in right from the start. And the idea is this has some heat to it. If you're not into hot food, then don't put as much. So what we'll do is we'll leave that to brown. You don't want it over too much of an aggressive heat. You want to kind of seal in the flavour, so it doesn't want to be too low, but it doesn't want to be burning it, obviously. So that could take 2 or 3 minutes. I'll make a note and let you know how long I leave it for. I very much make this up as I go along, and I very much don't know what I'm doing. I just do it by sight. So yeah, we'll leave that to cook, and then we'll go and we'll prepare some of the other items, and we'll be watching this and I'll make sure to tell you exactly how long to leave it for. It's been almost exactly 10 minutes, and what you can see here is exactly what we want to see. It's sizzling away, it's not overcooked, it's just nicely browned. And the next step to do, because there was no prep, is drop a big nice chunk of butter in. Now if you've got a little bit of a sensitive stomach, put less butter, but I don't have a sensitive stomach, so I like to put a lot of butter in. We let that get a little bit melted, and then what we do is we break up mushrooms into it, and I don't bother chopping mushrooms because, well, it's just a waste of time, isn't it? Just crumble them into lumps like so. So we put in a quantity of mushrooms, again to your taste. I like mushrooms, they add a lot, they carry a lot of flavour, and yeah, they're just generally all round good, aren't they, at the end of the day. So we'll chuck a load of mushrooms in, and then what we do is we also chuck some pepper in at the same time. Another of my particular favourites, particularly for breakfast, is butter fried mushrooms. And so this here is basically currently pork and butter fried mushrooms. So this stage now goes on, again, not totally sure, I'll pay attention and check out the time, but now is when you can leave it for a little bit, turn the heat down slightly, because what you're looking at doing is basically steaming or cooking the mushrooms in the butter, and obviously that butter is going to give it a lovely nice flavour. You can also add some more heat now if you want to, put some chopped chilies in. I'm going to leave off on this one. But yeah, once you've coated everything with the butter, which is what I'm doing now, then just leave it to sizzle away, and I'll bring you back when we get to the time for the next stage, which is going to be putting the pasta on and adding the rest of the ingredients. So in this time I will boil the kettle, because I generally start my pasta off with boiling hot water because it's easier, don't have to heat it up on the gas oven and waste gas. So yeah, that's something that will be happening in this intervening time. So if you're cooking along, go and put your kettle on in about 5 minutes. So you can probably hear the pasta sizzling away, not the pasta, the pork sizzling away. So now it's time to put the pasta on. Now I've got rigate, pipe rigate. I normally go for something like shells, but just because it's better. It catches the flavour and it's nicer, but it's all I've got. So then put a little bit of salt in, which is what's added in there. And then a little bit of a secret ingredient is olive oil. Add some olive oil. I don't add olive oil at any other stage, but I do add it into the water that I'm cooking the pasta on. So now we'll pop the heat on that, and I'm going to put a lid on it so that it cooks nice and efficiently. So now that's going, I'm going to immediately switch over and go back to the pork. So give me 1 second. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be adding the final ingredients in here. And what that is my sauce. So we'll drop that in. That's a bit solid. And this being the case, I will grab, which I didn't bring around with me, the small amount of boiling water that's still in the kettle, pour that in, and then give a good shake, and then you can get the rest of the sauce out. Just be aware that as it's boiling, it will actually expand. So give it a good shake, and then pour it out, just to get as much as you can out. And then basically coat everything that's in there with the sauce. So the next thing that we're going to add is my measly little bits of chili that I just picked off my plants, the last of the year. There are actually flowers on it, but I don't think they're going to produce anything this late in the year. Okay, so now that's looking like that. The final thing that we're going to do, and again, this is down to taste how much of this you put in. You can also obviously chop the olives if you wish, but I don't bother. We just take the whole packet and dump it in, including the vinegar. And that now makes, oh, the smell's amazing. That now makes a lovely kind of sauce which is going to coat everything that's in the pan. And what we do now is we let that reduce down while the pasta is cooking. So again, that was about 10 minutes that I was left the mushrooms in before I started to add the extra ingredients. So what now? It's 25 past. So I'll pay attention and let you know how long I leave it for. But basically, the timer on the next step is your pasta. you don't want to cook your pasta, you want to half cook your pasta. So it should just be starting to get soft. So keep checking it, keep testing it. I'll be doing that, and when I get to that stage, I'll bring you back for the next and final step before eating. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes, no more. That pasta is now ready. It is not soft, but it is definitely softening. And it's as simple as this. You dump it all in, water and all. This is a very, very simple dish. Kind of sums me up. And then what you do is you coat all the pasta in the sauce, so just mix it over like that. And then you leave it, and this is when you do leave it for a little bit. What you want it to do, and again, down to taste, but what I like to do is to leave it so it's kind of turned into more of a paste than a sauce, so that it's not very saucy at all. So again, it's about half past, having been 5 minutes, so I'm probably going to leave this for about 15-20 minutes over a high heat and let it reduce down. And I will bring you along at the end when I'm ready and happy. But the good thing with this now is that the pasta is going to cook in that lovely spicy hot sauce with all of that vinegar and all of that goodness in there, and so all of the flavour is going to mix in with the sauce. So let me just quickly move the camera so you can see a little bit easier. There we are. So we've got the sauce all coating the pasta, it's all fully mixed through, and so I'll now read a book, watch this for a bit, chill out, every now and then give it a stir, but you don't have to be all that active with it. You just want it to reduce down now. So there we are, nearly done, and I'm hungry. And here we have it. This is about when I normally serve it up. So there's still some, if you can see in there, there's still some bubbling away at the bottom there, but not very much at all. You don't want to completely boil it dry, otherwise you'll start to burn it. But you do want to reduce, for me anyway, most of the sauce down so that it's all that flavour has gone into all the other ingredients. So I'm going to serve this up now, and I'm going to eat it. And I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you're going to maybe try this recipe. It'd be cool if you do. Let me know in the comments below. If you want me to do more cooking videos, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, thanks for watching. And as always, please eat well and stay safe, stay healthy, and stay well.